This video will be an introduction to the different feature types that you will want to include inside of the Drainage and Utilities DGN library. I'm inside of an example DGN library for Drainage and Utilities. I want to talk about a few of the different feature types that you'll want to include. So down here we have a group of Drainage and Utilities features that's going to include a conduit, a drainage area, and a node. A conduit is going to be a linear feature that spans between two XYZ points. A drainage area is going to be more of a shape or a polygon feature. And a node feature is going to be a point feature that takes up one point in space. You're also going to include some linear features though. So this could be a drafting line that you might want to be on a do not construct class. Could be a line used for the gutter flow tool to show the gutter flow along the curbs. Could also be used for the hydraulic grade line or utility profile runs, but you will include some linear features inside of this library. Looking at a few examples of these different drainage and utilities feature types, this is going to be mostly conduits. So if you're thinking of a utility, that's going to be the gas lines, the electric lines, communication cables, wastewater lines. If you're thinking stormwater, that's going to be channels, ditches, culverts, gutters, and pipes. All of those linear features. Skip down to nodes. So if we're looking at utilities, this could be conflict nodes if you're running conflict detection. It's going to take up one point in space. This could be electric meters or service poles, transformers, could be a gas valve, maybe a fiber access point. Looking at the stormwater nodes, this can be a transition node, a tap, a pond outlet structure, outfalls, manholes, inlets, head walls, and cross sections. The drainage area feature types are only going to be used in stormwater, and that's going to be the catchments, the low impact developments, and ponds. When you're using this inside of a design file, anytime you go and place a node or a conduit or use any of those different feature definitions, it's going to look inside of the workspace files, so all of those DGN libraries. It's going to copy what you need, the feature definition you used, and it's going to copy that inside of the design file that you're currently in. So it's going to copy the feature definition and then any workspace element that's dependent on that feature definition. So that's going to also include any type of feature symbologies, annotation groups, annotation definitions, as well as any element templates. So let's take a look at the different feature types and the settings that go along with that. Now I am going to be taking a deeper dive into this in later videos, and this is going to act more as just an introduction or a high-level overview. So when we're thinking of drainage and utilities features, whether that be, in this case, a stormwater concrete pipe, or a pavement catchment, or an inlet. For all three of these things, we have a hydraulic prototype where it's getting its hydraulic default settings. If we're looking at the feature definition for just a regular utility node or conduit, you're not going to be hooking up to a hydraulic prototype in those cases. If we're looking at a node, there is a node section of properties, and that's for stormwater or any other type of utility. If we're looking at a conduit, then you're going to have a conduit section. So those are just unique groups of properties that you're going to see in these features. Another thing that is different is going to be how the symbology is set up. So you're going to see that for a conduit, for instance, we have the ability to control the hydraulic grade line or the energy grade line, how that's displayed in profile. We also have a lot more control over how the elements displayed inside of plan and profile, as well as inside of the 3D model. So as you're looking at these feature types, you're going to see different symbology types that correspond with a certain type of feature. When we do linear features, those are going to be primarily drawn by either the settings in the feature definition or by some catalog that we're pointing to. when we look at a drainage area, that's going to be drawn off of a shape that is determined by the user. And then if we're looking at a node, this is where we are going to be using cells. So a 2D cell is going to be used for plan or profile, and a 3D cell is going to be used for the display inside of the 3D model.